Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, GP5MJX. Had a little bit of a problem starting the stream. I started it the wrong way. It took a little bit for it to get going. Midnight in Europe. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao, hello, Miami Scissors. Hi, how you doing? Eastern time. I'm actually an hour ahead of you, so it's just over 7 o'clock here. We don't set our clocks back, so you all are in the past now that you put your clocks back. So in a few months, we'll be in the same time zone again. So just going to give us a few minutes for people to log in, and we'll get started. There's a request of going over last week's tournament, so I will do that a bit, or at least show my defense team and how that fared. I am in the Caribbean, a very tiny island country in the Caribbean. I moved here about 5 years ago with my wife. She's from a different island in the Caribbean. I'm originally from Pennsylvania in the U.S. And I've been happy to be down here, especially during such a crazy year. DV, where are you at in Europe? Jason Davis, hello. Sweden, nice. I imagine you're cold this time of year. Belgium. Welcome, Cyprus. Paul Smart, hello. So we'll get started when this auto farm is done. This is my typical auto farm throughout the day. Season 3, Province 1, Stage 3, hard. Lots of food and iron every 90, well, I guess it's a little over 2 minutes or so it takes. Nevada. Been to Nevada a few times. Las Vegas, Reno. Deep Six, hello there. Georgia. Been through Georgia many times too. My brother from Jamaica, Andre Walker. How you doing? Been to Jamaica twice. Got to get over there with my wife and keep telling her about it. Rami Rosen, 145. Hello there. So we have these crazy frogs. I know sometimes people complain about hearing them in my video. My wife and I just closed up the house and put the air conditioner on, so hopefully you guys aren't hearing them. I can still hear them a bit. I've been through a lot of Texas. I don't know about San Angelo. San Antonio, definitely many times. Yeah, as soon as this COVID thing breaks, Andre, we'll get over to Jamaica. like I said, we got to share a meal sometime. Australia, wow, you're up early. Lived in Vegas while Henderson, Maine now. Just horrible. Everyone likes fighting. Too old for that. I hear that. Thought those were birds. Yeah, no, they're frogs. Thousands of little frogs. Yeah, I've crossed Texas. I think is that Interstate 10 that goes along the bottom of Texas. We did a big road trip through there and then been up through Dallas a few times, San Antonio a couple times. Arizona just toads. I hear that. Good evening, ZX. Jump in and start talking about this tournament. So there was a request to talk about last week's tournament, and that was the fours rush no fair that we just did. And I went ahead with this double Gillen bursty team, thinking they would overclock everybody's health. The new Frank from Orlovia, who does defense down, Gadiris with some healing and attack up, mana, and Jot for his crazy hit. Both Jot and Frank do 200% on top of their high attack numbers. So I was rated 3 times in the first 2 days, and I won all of those. And then I was not attacked again until Thursday, and I won that one. And then halfway through Friday, Miami Scissors from Russia, hello. Isle of Man, welcome. 9 a.m. Monday morning. Wow, you're in the future. 4-star tournaments can be a blast. I agree with that. So this is how this went. My offensive week started out interesting. I lost the very 5 losses. So it's an event. We have buff booster no. We just had a 5-star buff booster no dark just a few weeks ago in December. So there's a little bit, obviously, a change from switching from holy to dark. So it would probably be still dark tanks. And I like Zulag for this event, as she adds 3 buffs to herself and nearby allies. I still alive. How are we doing now? I think we should be okay. I just changed which internet I was using. Are we good now? Much better? Oh, great. Well, I switched over to the internet being paid for my company versus the one being paid for myself. So much for the data for this month on my work plan. Seems to be good now. All right, well, we'll stick with this. Just don't tell the job. At any rate, so 5-star buff booster, no holy. So we just had the 5-star buff booster, no darks in December. So we're going to flip the switch and switch the strong colors. So we're going to be looking for dark for tanks. I would recommend Zulag, as she has 3 buffs to herself and nearby allies. Boss Wolf, he's a decent dark tank who adds some buffs. Ursina, we'll see some Ursina. Is she is reflecting holy, which is awesome usually, but when there is no holy, that's not going to do us very good. But I imagine we'll see some Ursina. The new costume Obakan, if anybody has him, he reflects himself and nearby, so I could see him being a decent tank. Alfreak, although she does not issue any kind of buff, she's just a beast and is phenomenal on tank. So Alfreak is always worth consideration. Marie Therese might not be too bad. She adds a bunch of buffs. Kunshin, I was talking with Rebecca, I forget her last name right now, on Facebook earlier today, but Kunshin might not be a bad tank. Doesn't add buffs, but he does cleanse any ailments, and he does that all-important defense down. And, of course, he heals. the last part of his special there with adding 46% defense against holy doesn't matter since there is no holy. And he also resists getting defense down. So he gives it but doesn't receive it. So Kunshin might not be a bad choice for tank. So in looking at other potentials, yeah, Barra, I see that. Barra might be bad. Barra and Freya are just horrible tanks to go against. Not particularly strong on the buff side of things, but their minions are just a giant pain. So other heroes to consider potentially for tanks or flank because they add a bunch of buffs. Ajir, this is like the one event where Ajir really shines. He adds four buffs, all allies. So he is like the king of this event. Might be worth considering him even as tank, even though there's going to be nature roaming around that could take him out. 4 buffs at 20% each. That's 80% increased attack for all 5 heroes. That is huge. And that doesn't even count if you add those. Jean-Francois, he adds 3 buffs to all allies. Ares adds 3 buffs to himself and nearby allies. If you have either of those, they might be worth considering. I don't know that I'd put them on tank. Tarlac, he's a healer. He adds 2 buffs to the entire team. Kagan and Kagan costume add 2 buffs to himself and nearby allies. I have him floating around in here somewhere. Kagan, a lot of people talk negatively about Kagan, but he has the strongest hit in the game without any other assistance for hitting three people. So he is a very strong hero. So at this point, we're just going to go through a list of 5 stars that provide buffs. This list is going to be in alphabetical order by element. I'm not listing the heroes of the month that provide elemental links unless they provide another buff. I'm not highlighting them because we generally do not double up heroes of the same element on defense unless one color is not available. That said, you may want to consider any dark hero of the month that has an elemental link because that might be adding a buff that'll be important if you have other darks. All right, so let's just go through this list. So for darks, the other heroes that add buffs that we haven't talked about, Aaron, Demetia, Kiona, Marie-Therese, and Obakan. Fire, Balder from Season 3, Black Knight, Alina costume, Garnet, Grazel, Guardian Kong, Mitsuku, Puss in Boots, Queen of Hearts, Ruben, Tyr, Vonda, and Zimkitha. Ice, we would have Ariel, King Arthur, Magni, Mickey, Perseus, Raziel, and Costume Thorn now. Nature, good old Albrecht. Adamus, Elkinen Costume, Gregorian, Guardian Chameleon, Jade, Catalin Costume. She is so annoying, Catalin Costume. Margaret, Morgan Le Fay, and of course, Gloria. Ares Red is good. I did mention him above. As Ares adds 2 or 3. He adds 3 buffs to himself and nearby. So this is definitely great. I don't have Ares. He's one of the few. He's one of 3 hero of the months I'm missing. So in a buff booster tournament, we also want to think about the heroes that remove buffs. So that would be Demetia, Guardian Panther, Cage Barado, Sisha, and Onyx for the dark heroes. Cage is fantastic because Cage he's one of the few heroes that removes the buff before he strikes. Catalin Costume is the worst. Yeah, I hate fighting her too. Dodge is considered a buff when it's added the way she adds it. So the ninjas that have it as a family thing, that is not a buff. But Catalin Costume would be a buff. Raul, that sounds good. A Ajir tank or flank, and you're seeing a 19. So other heroes that remove buffs that'll be available this week. Frida for the ice. and Snow White, but be careful. Snow White removes buffs from both sides, so she might be dangerous to use. For nature, we have Evelyn, Z-Line, and Guardian Chameleon. One special hero that I like to consider in this event is the Hatter, as he steals the buffs from the enemy and randomly adds them to his allies. So imagine you're fighting somebody and they put all these buffs out that increase their attack, and then Hatter just comes by and steals them all and puts them on his allies. That is always a fun game. All right, see Paul Smart there. Be careful if you guys use Finley with anybody who removes buffs. You got to worry about the firing order there, because Finley hits everybody if they have buffs. And if you have somebody fire first that removes the buff, it kind of screws Finley's attack. So be careful with that. All right, so let's take a look at what I'm going to be running. So I think I'm going to be running the Santa family here. So Krampus, who will give the taunt and all of the buffs that he gives. Increase attack, increase defense. Alfreak, just because she's wicked and evil. Santa does the defense down to the enemy. Mother North for the revive, and then have Guardian Panther hiding in the corner for debuffing and for the elemental defense down. There are no real gem cheats that I'm aware of, and I wouldn't bother with them. Wouldn't be worth risking the count. Sorry if this is freezing. I live on an island. We usually have pretty good internet, but I guess we're having some issues tonight. So I don't know. What do you guys think of this as a defense? I thought about this or going full mono with Kunshin, a second Alfreak, and Ursina. I probably should say I usually would always, as a general reminder in the sneak peek preview videos, always look at heroes that are providing defense down or mana reduction. Those are always important. Defense down is significantly more important than attack up. And I've been seeing a lot of people on Facebook today posting potential teams that are all mono dark. And I can't encourage people enough not to do that. Unless you have incredibly strong sets of troops, the little bit of advantage you get from having a strong color on the board is wiped out by having troops that are not very supportive. Burnout's asking what I think about the Mythic Titan. I'm not sold on the Mythic Titan being a monthly event. It's okay. It's not something I'm going to be going for top scores every time. It's just way too resource intensive. It was fun and novel the first time out, but I don't think I'll be sticking with that on any real level. I'll hit it hard enough to try to get in the 1%, but probably staying there. Maybe C-Shat instead of Panther. I actually don't have my C-Shat maxed. For me, I have Alina. Tyler saying he has Alina, Zulag, Sabina, Skittle Skull, and Valeria. Do you think that's good? I would throw Zulag in as the tank, Tyler. She puts up a bunch of buffs. Maybe have Sabina next to her. Yeah, GP. I know this is a very slow defensive team, and you're right. I'm hoping Alfreak stalls enough and Krampus gets taunt on so that the rest can do some of the dirty work. That is my concern with this team, is with how slow it is, and people are building such fast heroes anymore. GD is asking about Nor. You know, I've seen some incredible, I mean, absolutely incredible videos of Nor. There's a player who swears by Nor, and you would be amazed at the crazy games he gets. They're long games, but he pulls them out with Nor. He's made me think about taking Nor past 370. She is definitely an interesting character, especially with all the minions running around. Yeah, Burnout. I have Ariel. I have Ariel with some emblems on her. Just 6. Jean France with Krampus, Alfric, Clarissa, and Teloria. GP, I might switch Clarissa and Teloria just so Teloria is picking up some more tiles. B-Rule, thank you. Thanks for that, B-Rule. Yeah, I mean, I'm just here about Empires and Puzzles. I'm not going to be promoting another game. I'm here. This is really the only game that I play. Eddie Hart's talking about Francine, Seashat, Zulag, Richard Costume, and Tier. That sounds pretty decent to me. Seashat. I really need to get around to maxing my Seashat. I have too many good dark heroes, and they're always fighting for those tabards when I get them. Adam, yeah, I know. That's my concern with it being slow. I'm just hoping, you know, Alfreak is one of those tanks. You either kill her and have a chance of winning, or you're screwed and you're really fighting for your life after she goes off. Let's see, who else do we like here? Yeah, you asked me, Burnout, I think the other day on my channel, if I give shout outs. I do for people who suggest challenges that I do. I'll call them out in the challenge. The attack revenge videos I do, you got to call out in there too. You call out right now. Call out to Burnout. Yeah, I think I checked out your YouTube the other day. I think you had some like bicycle stuff going on. It was pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna do something interesting here. Where? Andre Walker, are you still on? Andre Walker, are you still here? Did I lose my friend from Jamaica? All right, great. Andre, if you are game, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Why don't you tell me what you think I should put up? You want to pick my raid defense for this week? You want to take it on? If you're game, let me know how you want to see the heroes or what you want to put up. I didn't really think about Onyx. Also a Dispeller. Yeah, Mr. Spock is awesome. He's really the only other YouTuber for this game that I follow. I think his content is great. I think his presentation is great. My wife loves his voice. All right, Andre, I'm going to start from the top. The first team there is a leveling team. Actually, we got Frigg and Black Knight. Get this thing out of the way. So I am going to run a defense team this week that Andre chooses. Unless he picks 5 Dawas, and then I'll hate him and not do that. But assuming he puts up a legit team. You got double Alfreaks, Yercina, Kill here with no emblems, unfortunately. Marie Therese with no emblems. We're sorted by power here, so most of Freya, she's still waiting for tabards. Armor, hello. Paul Smart, Lion Roar Gaming. I'm not familiar with Lion Roar Gaming. I'll have to check out their content. I'm surprised. Oh wait, you're talking about Nittany Lion Roars? Yes, I am familiar with Nittany Lion Roars. I wonder if he had to drop the Nittany Lion. We're both actually graduates from Penn State University, and that's their mascot. So I wonder if they got on him for that. Who do I think the best hero of the months are for each color? I don't know with that. All right, we got something in here from Andre. Let's put together the team he's talking about. Let's take a look at this. He's saying start off with Mother North. And he wants to see Onyx in there. Onyx. Alfreak, I'm going to assume the one with the 9 emblems, not the 5. And the Hatter. He's going double nature. Stealing buffs. The Hatter. And Panther. All right. So we're going double nature and triple dark. So troops. I guess I can put the 30 on Panther since she is fast and would drop a tile. And everybody else, it won't matter as much. Actually, well, Alfreak. Well, you don't even drop a tile on defense, but that's a whole nother story. Yeah, and Alfreak will benefit from the 23. All right, Andre, you had a chance to see this now. Let me know if this is what you want, pal, because if you say yes, we're going to run this week and see how it does. Chat, do you think about this team? All right, Armor, you're saying Frigg, like the defense down, Kiona, Yercina, Sartana, and Richard. Fairly decent to me. Sartana is really tough for a sniper. She has pretty good defense and health. True Tech, show me attack Marjana and Gefyon with attack buff from Black Knight. Yeah, the double nature attack. They still have to get past Alfreak. Gotta go. Sorry, couldn't stay. No problem, Burnout. We'll catch you later. If I see you, I'm going red mono. That's a yes. Interesting team. All right, pal. I'm blaming you for this week. Hopefully it's a good one. Not bad. Could be better. Bye, everyone. All right, so let's analyze what Andre put together here. Mother North, we know, is a giant pain with recovering health for everybody 50% chance of revival, and then the elf minions, which are a pain. Onyx is the gambler of all the ninjas are gamblers if they're going to go off on 1, 2, or 3 charges, but definitely a strong hit. Dispels buffs, targets immune to new buffs. Alfreak. We know how deadly Alfreak can be, that mindless attack and the strong hit coming at you. The Hatter. Love the Hatter. I've always loved the Hatter, but when he got the buff up to 400% damage, I was thrilled about that. And then he steals all the buffs from the enemies, which is kind of cool. And then Guardian Panther, a decent hit, and the elemental defense down, and the buff removal. All right, apply. That will be the defense for this week. Record it if you attack it and kick its butt. Andre's laughing until he cries. I think Andre has a defense team that he thinks that he'll be able to take out if he sees it. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. All right, any other questions, comments, thoughts on this week's tournament? I would imagine we're going to see a lot of Zulags, Kunchins, Alfreaks, Ursinas. Plenty of those running around. B rules. Panther is a hit free hero. Let's pull her up again for you. So she's doing 210% damage to the target and nearby. So she's hitting 3 equally, which is always my preference. Those 3 also become elemental defense down for dark by negative 54%. And then she dispels buffs from the target and nearby enemies. So she's at least debuffing 3 heroes, depending on how she hits. Luna J. David, thanks. Good luck in the tournament to you, too. Hope you have strong tiles. All right, Andre, we'll keep in touch this week and see how it goes. Well, I thank you all for tuning in. May your defenses be sturdy, tiles fortunate, and attacks strong. Enjoy your week, everyone. Let me know in the comments how your week goes. We'll catch you later.